It is Wednesday, May 25th, and alright, this video is going to be a couple of parts. First is inspiration part. Jennifer Fallon and Sarah Douglas have really been my main inspirations on starting to write fantasy, but also my friend Ellie and with our Neville Longbottom story, so I guess kind of J.K. Rowling as well. Also, that's when I really started writing, and then also it depends, like, the story that I'm going to be reading a bit of later that I've been writing is a dystopian short story. We've been reading them lately. Sorry, I can't think right now. We've been reading those lately in class. We had to do a paper for it, but I talked to the teacher and she let me do a story for it instead of, or like 3 pages of research and then a story for the other part. I'm trying to figure out a good volume of my voice too, so yell at me if I'm too loud at the moment, which is really funny for me to be saying, but I just listened to one of the other things, and it was really loud, because I technically have 2 mics, the laptop mic, which is really, really quiet, and then this mic, so it's really loud. Sorry, I'm rambling. The next part is the punishment, which I filmed before I knew the sound quality sucked, and then had to go back and delete all my other parts, but I was not redoing that part. So, yep. Alright, third part is my story. It's a dystopian short story that starts out like how the world's gonna turn to like complete sociopaths because violence and technology and warfare and stuff are detaching us from each other and from emotions and whatnot. So the main character's name is Alec, and parts before were kind of boring, and parts after it have names that I don't want to say out loud because they're kind of an inside joke sort of thing. So this part that I'm going to be reading, I was being slightly nostalgic for SKBC, where I made the main character living at the campsite that we went to with other people. Alright. After a little bit longer flying through the ruined city, he decided to fly back to his cabin a little bit west of the city, just outside of New Hampshire. Alec had heard the set of cabins by the lake had once been a campground for young humans to play and learn about survival skills. Like any of them would be able to survive in this life. He found it even more interesting that sometimes, about once a year, a group of people would come and fight with foam swords. What did that accomplish? Was it for some sort of fun, or did he think that at some point technology would die? How could someone let that or want that to happen? As he landed in the small sandy area of the campsite, he hit one of the many other buttons to open his small tank ship. There were a few others also living at the campsite. He supposed, biologically, at least some of them were his family, but none of them truly felt any connection. He walked up to his cabin, once labeled 7. He could kind of see the old lake bed. The waters were still there, but had receded severely, and generations passed when the world was overpopulated with empathy-filled humans. Later on in the story, he kind of plans for taking over a government base that's pretty much controlling zombies, and then the typical arrogant, idiotic sociopath. He gives the zombies intelligence, taking away inhibitors chips. They're kind of like synthetic, but not really. It's hard to explain. I explained it in my story, though. Kind of. So yep. I don't really have much else to talk about, so Charlotte, I shall see you on Friday.